everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Continuing this marvelous book, The Eyes and the Impossible by Dave Eggers. And this book just keeps getting better and better, in my opinion. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you are too. There's just so much in here. Uh, I'm reading this for the American Cancer Society for their readathon for the month of August. Links in the description below if you would like to donate. And this chapter is pretty short, so this will be a short video today. No, I didn't read ahead. This is still a blind read, but I try to count the pages so that I know how to pace myself for the passage. That's all. Cross my heart. Not reading ahead. I promise. Okay, so chapter 27. The next day, after we woke up and after Helene had spent 100 or so hours eating, her eyes brightened. I almost forgot to tell you, she said. In the middle of the night, I had an idea for you. The sun had recently risen with her billion golden arms, and I will admit that I worried Helene would tell me some unsettling ideas about the sun not being God. I worried Helene would tell me that ants were God or mushrooms or some other upside down notion, but instead she had a question that was very good and an idea that was even better. You were saying yesterday that you were planning to free the bison, she said, but where will you bring them once they are free of their fencing? This I didn't know. It was one of the things I hadn't worked out. The farthest that I'd taken the plan was to the sea. I kept picturing them on the sand running free, but that's where the dream ended, and I told her so. Hmm, she said and looked out towards the rolling ocean. Well, I am so grateful to you for sticking up for me to the other goats. I can't tell you how grateful. So I was up half the night thinking of how to repay you. I told her it was wholly unnecessary that she repay me, she grinned. I knew you would say that, she said. But anyway, in the middle of the night, I had a thought. Why not bring the bison on the ship back to the mainland, where we'll go once there's enough room for all the where we'll go, there's more than enough room for all the bison in the world. There's a billion miles where they can run and graze and sleep and even hide if they need to. The land never ends. I've lived there all my life and haven't even seen the tiniest part of it. Immediately, this idea seemed a perfect one to me, an idea so flawless and inevitable that we had to make it real. But would the ship really be big enough? How would the bison not be seen and expelled? Good questions, she said. It'll be tricky because they are so large. I assume your bison pals are large? I confirmed to Helene that they were very large. Well, she said, the thought I had was that maybe they could mix in with all of us, especially if we were jumping around and on each other's backs, which we do sometimes. And when we all tramp up the gangway onto the ship, your bison friends could sneak in among us and maybe they wouldn't get noticed. Helen closed her eyes, as if picturing it. She nodded at the sight in her mind. It's an idea anyway. Now she looked out at the innumerable goats of all colors, and I did too. I wondered if the bison could possibly blend in among them. There were some larger goats, but even the largest among them was less than half the size of Meredith, the smallest of the bison. But we could work on it, I thought. Well, it will take a lot of planning, 100 years of planning, but I know it will work. I told her, and she was quite brilliant, and I told her I was very grateful, and I told her that tomorrow I would tell the assistant eyes about the plan, and if they liked it, and if a few days later I would tell the bison, and then we would begin drawing up schemes. I was going on, and that's when Helen stopped me. You don't have 100 years to plan this, she said. We don't even have 100 days or 100 hours. The boat leaves tomorrow morning at 7:08. Whoa. Timing. There's timing issues. Well, this advances the plot, doesn't it? So, I don't know. If you've ever seen a bison, they are very large. They're taller than your average human adult. Goats, well, they can be big. The biggest goat that I've ever come across came up to my hip. and I'm just about the average size of humans, so I don't know if that would quite work, but it is an interesting idea. And goats do like to climb on other animals and play around. So that does make sense with Helene's idea, but could it actually work? And would the bison even want to do it? We'll have to find out next time. So, Roma, Riva, and Krishna, Heather loves you very much, and I love the rest of you too. See you next time. Bye bye.